Hi, everyone. Welcome to Book Lounge by Libby. My name is Joe, and I am so happy you're here. Happy New Year. Welcome to the new year. If you are checking this out, this is our first episode of 2026. And I have two of my absolute favorite people with me today to talk books. But before I let them start talking, just a couple things. Thank you to all of you who took the time to fill out our end of year survey. Really means a lot. And just know that I hear all of your feedback, and I'm so excited to already be putting it into action. So be on the lookout. When we don't have a season running, you can still expect 3 episodes per month. And every month, season or not, our monthly book picks are back. I know those are your favorites, so we'll be consistently seeing them. And I believe one of my guests today will be back for one of those good old February book picks. Am I right, Meara?
Are you right? Yeah.
I'm right. So, joining me today are Jananie and Meara, and we are going to be talking about the books that we are most excited for in 2026 as a whole. I have not done one of these type of episodes in a minute because I'm a mood reader, because every time I see a book I want, my whole list implodes and I start fresh. But I'm excited to say this year, I actually have quite a few that I've been eagerly anticipating. So these aren't exhaustive lists. More will always be added. And, that's the fun. But anyway, hi, you two. How are you? How are your holidays?
So busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun though. I got to see nephews, little baby nephews. So that was
Aw,
fun.
I love that.
Same. I got so much book-related Christmas presents from
Aw.
various family members because, of course, everyone's like, what does Meara like? Books.
Classic.
Yeah, my friend group, we had a bit of a blind box Christmas.
Ooh.
I got my first Labubu.
I got a
I'm
Labubu in a
so
blind box from a friend for
jealous.
Christmas.
I want one
I
so
got
bad.
the big one and I got the little one. I have that color one. But my big one is me colored. It's 2 shades of pink.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we just did all sorts of goofy nonsense, and the holidays are just fun. I don't know. I love a gift. My one friend was very specific about getting all of us gift certificates to bookstores that we love. So that way
Aw.
she didn't have to pick the right book. We could still pick our own book, but that it was specifically earmarked for book time.
I love that.
Aw. I love
Yeah.
that.
But how about all of you? What are your relationships like with eagerly awaiting books? We all are in the unique position of sometimes if we want a book early, we get a book early. Jananie, I'm looking at you. But and me, I'm looking at myself too. My most anticipated I have a copy of already. Sorry, I'm not waiting until April. But, but what's it feel like to be excited for a book to you? Does it evoke anything? Does it bring back memories, or is it always fresh and new every time?
I feel like it always reminds me of when I was a kid. And so my birthday's in October. It's October 2nd. And that's the week of publishing when all the big,
That's the
big
week.
banger
Yeah.
book releases come out. And I always remember for Christmas, for, my birthday, whatever it is, I would ask for gift cards, book gift cards, like we were saying just earlier, so I could pre-order my favorites so that I would get them on my birthday. And yeah, it just gives me that feeling of when I was a kid, when I would read, a book by an author I really, really loved. I need the next book. And it's usually that feeling of anticipating something in a series. But I feel like in recent years, I am starting to anticipate just standalones, whether it's from a author I really love, or just I see a concept and I'm like, this is so cool and I want this now.
Yes. No, I totally feel that. I was thinking the same thing for me, so much of being excited about a book takes me back to when I was a kid, either waiting for the Scholastic book order to
Oh my
come in,
God, yeah.
or if I would be, because I was at the library 3 nights out of 5 of the week, just looking at books and typing in the computer system to be does this author I love have another book? When does the next book come out? And I'm old enough that the internet was not readily available, easy to navigate when you wanted to find out when the next book was coming. And authors also didn't put out a new book every 6 months or every year. Like, you could wait 3 years. You could find a
Yeah.
series and you wouldn't even know that it was supposed to have a book 2 and never got it. And they already made that. Like, there was just like a level of, yeah, that died on the cutting room floor somewhere, or, oh, who knows, speculation. But yeah.
Yeah.
I get so upset when I find out that a book is coming out and that it's not out yet. Like, I just get mad. I'm like, what do you mean I have to wait? I want it now.
It's so real, though, especially like in our situations where we all talk enough to authors or are in the space where you hear something that they may not have said to the public, or there may not be like a release date yet. And there is a book that I am eagerly waiting for that doesn't even have a first draft finished yet, but the author knows exactly where they want it to be. And I'm like, what do you mean I have to wait and remember that this is coming?
I'm commenting like algorithm bring me back on their
Oh my
posts
God,
about it.
yeah.
I'm holding my phone up and just saying, TJ Klune new book, TJ Klune new book.
One of my most toxic traits about this, though, is if I'm like, oh, I want to read this book, I have zero patience. And I know that I'll forget about it, so I'll just go pre-order it. And then one day I'll just have like random packages showing up and I'm like, a book for me, from me. Wow.
Presents.
Whoa. Who
I
would have
know.
thought?
I call those my treasures when it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, look, a treasure arrived.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
love
I
that.
will say, our dear friend Emma, friend of the pod, she used to have to keep a spreadsheet, though, so she wouldn't have bought either multiples of the same book, or she's like a special version collector. So she'd have to make sure, like, did I get too many, or this one, and this one have retailer specific excerpts and
Yeah. The pre-ordering the same book multiple times by accident, literally
real.
me. I've
So
done
real.
that too many times to count.
Have y'all seen my
Yes.
Adeline Grace shelf? I think I put it out all the time that I've accidentally ended up with 3 copies of every single book in the Belladonna series.
Oops.
Oops.
Amazing.
Oops,
It's
all
okay.
Adeline
It's a
Grace.
gift for another friend, you know?
That's true. You could always shop your shelves. Well, let's dive in. Let's just go for it. I'll kick us off. My first pick is coming out in March 31st. This is a horror lit fic thriller style from Luc Dumas. This is Nothing Tastes as Good. And this book first hit me with the title because, as I was joking before we started recording, I seem to live in idioms. And this being the pull of Nothing Tastes as Good as Skinny Feels, and having a like bitten into jelly donut on the front cover sold me. I didn't even need to read the description to know that this was for me. But then Paul Tremblay described it as disorienting, creepy, paranoia inducing. And then again, I was sold. So it follows Emmett Truesdale, who has never fit the Southern California mold of a six-pack suntan masculinity. He's over 300 pounds, and he carries the weight of his childhood trauma and millennial ennui around his waist and in his soul. And after trying every diet under the sun, he remains stuck in his dead-end job, in love, and in his body. There's a miraculous product coming called Obexity. It's a treatment, and the treatment is as horrifying as the results are miraculous. And as he sheds pounds at superhuman speed, every part of his life improves overnight. So I was just happy that when I finally read the description, everything that I inherently knew this was about, from seeing the cover, reading the title, seeing the author's name, I knew that I was going to relate way too hard to this and that I was going to absolutely love it. So I cannot wait for this book. Again, that is Nothing Tastes as Good by Luc Dumas. That will be coming for us in March. I know. I love that, like, body horror by way of commentary on body standards and body image. And, as a person who's struggled with that his whole life, I'm excited for this one. I'm still in my horror era, y'all.
Always. Especially because it's winter.
Yes, absolutely. Jananie, do you want to give us your first pick?
Yeah. I'm so bad. I was like editing the doc and then I went undo and then I think I undid other people's.
It's okay. We'll all survive.
It's okay. Okay, my first pick will be We Dance Upon Demons by Shri Patel. I have an arc here. Don't hate me, people. But it comes out in May. And this is by one of my favorite authors ever. Shri Patel has written Kaige, Goddess of the River, and 10 Incarnations of Rebellion. So this is her newest book, and this is a contemporary fantasy. And it has a depressed main character who works at an abortion clinic and where there are demons attacking the clinic, and she is trying to save the clinic. And this is like after Roe versus Wade has been overturned.
Yeah.
So it's like very political, but also like fantasy, and it's just so interesting. And I loved what she did with this book. So I feel like it's going to be a very like new and exciting book for 2026.
I love that cover. I love what
It
it's about.
is.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard you talk about them before, and like their writing
Mhm.
always sounds so just ooh.
Beautiful
Yeah.
fantasy books. Yeah.
I'm also a sucker for contemporary fantasy. I think I tend to
Same.
get lost in a new made up world, but in like our world, but fantasy, I'm sold.
I love the idea of like, main characters in the real world having to deal with the consequences of like magic or like fantasy elements, and like how to explain that to like their parents or like their sister. Like I just love that. I think it's hilarious.
The thought of being like, but mommy, I love him. And it's a
Hmm.
knight who somehow time traveled to this period of
Yeah.
time. Like, okay.
Yeah. That's going to work out.
I'm reading a book right now. It's called Peaches and Honey, and it's very like Secret Life of Addie LaRue, where like
Ooh.
this girl in like I want to say like the 11 or 1200s eats a fruit from this like mysterious person, and now she is immortal. And so it's like following her through time, and she's in different like significant phases of history. It starts out with her just like exploring around Europe. But at one point, she kind of like adopts this little boy during a like famine in France, and he reaches 18, gets married, and she's like, I have to leave. Like, I'm not aging. The people are starting to whisper, like, you have to live your life now. And several generations later, she like passes back through the town and she sees his gravestone and she's so sad. And the gravekeeper, and she'd explain to her son, like, why she has to leave. Like, she was like, I'm immortal. I'm not aging. I have to go.
Yeah.
The gravekeeper is like, he was a great man. And she's like, wow. And he's like, yeah. So, great grandma, do you want to stay around for more? And it turns out that like not only did the son believe her, he like continued to tell his
Oh.
ancestors that they
Oh.
all believed her. And she was like, just like gobsmacked that like they would all believe so thoroughly this thing that all of his grandchildren stayed in like the locations where they had lived in case she ever came back to any of them. So that way they could know her.
My heart.
It's so sweet.
I love that.
That's
so
heartbreaking.
cute. But it's beautiful.
It's probably one of my like favorite instances of like fantasy, but like in the real world where it's like, and they have to believe this really incredulous thing.
Right. It's like we have to suspend disbelief
Yes.
and live it.
All right.
The squeak picked up for sure. Don't mind me. Roscoe's getting comfortable.
As he should.
I was like, what
As he
is
should.
that?
And just my dog.
Love it. Okay.
Meara, what do you have for us?
I had several February books in this list, and I was like, actually, I should probably save those for next month.
Did the same thing today.
The first book I'm going to talk about actually comes out next week. We're filming this on January 6th. It comes out on the 13th. I'm considering this a birthday present to myself because my birthday is on the 12th. It's A Vow in Vengeance by Jacqueline Rodriguez. The like intro sentence is deadly tarot, wicked schemes, dangerous alliances. Can you survive the forge? I don't know, like just that alone speaks to me. It says it's a sexy, action-packed, and brimming with magic. It's an unputdownable romantasy debut. And something about winter makes me really want to read a romantasy. And I have been sitting here like craving a romantasy. And so as I was exploring books coming out this year, and I was like, this one's coming out right after my birthday. I think I went to go to the store and buy it for myself as a little treat. So this is my first anticipated read.
I love that though. I love to hear, and I know we may or may not have an episode coming up about like what we're wanting to read in the winter, but like, I'm such a sucker for, I don't know, like having a niche for the season.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I'll be like, every winter I read romantasy. And then if you like ask me when I'm reading in the middle of the summer, I'm like, This girl is sleeping with a monster.
Uh-huh. It's how it goes, though. I mean, because, like,
I love it.
when I finally accepted after, like, the successful recommendation from Kayla that was a horror pick, that, like, oh, I just want to read it all the time. Suddenly I read, like, 150 books last year. So it
Amazing.
just became the, like, oh, I'm just going to read whatever I want whenever the season rather than try to hold out for it.
Yep.
And so then when I need a break, I really enjoy what I find in the meantime. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. So my next pick, this is one that every time I would take like an afternoon scroll break on TikTok, if a list of books popped up, I would save it to be like, okay, I'm going to go through these later. These are coming out in 2026. I need it for this episode. And this was one of them that it didn't just get the little bookmark of death. That means you never go back to it. I actually immediately went and put it on a tag in Libby. This is Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker. Okay, good. I'm getting positive
I
reactions.
want to read this too. I think I
Right?
have an ER. Sorry.
Oh, I know. I'm with you. I'm like, well, I might have to go kick around and see if I can get my hands on one. But it's lyrical. It's inventive. It's a horror novel that's interwoven with Japanese mythology about two people living centuries apart that discover a door between their worlds. So its listed subjects in Libby are fantasy, fiction, horror, and romance. So I'm very intrigued by how all of those things play together. And I've seen this pop up mainly on like horror lists, but I don't know. I'm here for it. We go between October of 2026 and October of 1877. And
Ooh.
I don't know. I just like the line that sticks with me is one of these people is a ghost and one of these stories is a lie. So
Ooh.
right, there's just like an immense amount of intrigue. I am
Mm-hmm.
also a sucker for mythology in anything. It does not matter like country of origin, mythology, I will be sat and ready. But I also have a special interest in like Japanese mythology. So I'm here.
Have you read
Yeah.
The Keeper of the Night?
I was just
No.
going to say.
It is
Literally just
Kylie
gonna
Lee
say.
Baker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So same author, full of Japanese mythology. It is this character who is like half British, half Japanese. She's a reaper of a kind. She goes back to Japan and she has been tasked with killing all of these different significant figures of Japanese mythology.
Shut up.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
well,
while you're
I'm
waiting for
waiting for
Japanese
this.
Gothic,
That was such a good book. And it was also like such a strange one. Like I felt like it was unique. Like it was different from a lot of books that like have mythology because it was like kind of horrific and goes off the rails at the end. So I loved it. So I've been like wanting to read more from that author. So
Have
I'm
you
very
read
excited for this one.
Bat Eater and Other Names
I
for
need to.
Courting?
I need to. I need to.
Also,
Yeah.
it's also on my list from the last time we all
Yeah.
recorded. Like,
Kylie Lee Baker, if you are listening, just know that I go to bat for you.
and honestly, you got to be right because Bat Eater was on everyone's list for reads of this year.
Mhm.
And I saw this pop up on several TikTok slideshows. And I was like, it already got me the first time, but seeing it and like if it was someone who'd be like, these are the elements I'm looking forward to in this, I was just like, I'd continue to be more and more sold. But Meara, thank you. Now I know what I'm going to read in the meantime because that doesn't come out until April 21st.
There you go. You
Yep.
got about one a month until this comes out.
See?
Perfect. I also love that it has the word Gothic in the title. I love Gothic.
Yes.
Anything. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
sold.
A Gothic episode, perhaps?
Perhaps Gothics for February?
Love.
All right,
Well, because
Jananie.
Wuthering Heights is also coming out in February.
The Jacob Elordi girls, we're eating.
I know. I feel like it's not going to actually be Wuthering Heights. It's just going to be hot Jacob Elordi and some romance. Bodice for being romance. But
Let's
I'm
not
fine
forget
with
about
that.
hot Margot Robbie. Like
That too.
The
Bodice for
bisexuals
Bing,
stay
again.
winning.
Yes, exactly.
Stunning.
We win all the time. Yeah, so Gothic episode for February would be perfect.
I'm sold. I'll make it happen. My people will contact your people, which is just me emailing you.
I love it. I guess I can give my next
Yeah.
pick. I'll go with my next horror one. I'm actually in the middle of reading the e-arc for this, and it comes out in February, and it's called Tradwife by Saratoga Schaefer, and I'm obsessed with this book, guys. Like, I'm mid to 75% through, and it is fascinating, but also like a train wreck, happening in real time, like in terms of what the main character is doing. Essentially, she is a trad wife, which, if you do not know, on social media, there's this trend of traditional wives, sort of very conservative values, and like choosing to like make things from scratch and like be homemakers. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just like the romanticization of this lifestyle in some ways. And so this book has a main character who is like one of these trad wife influencers. She's like, gotten this new big house that her husband has, moved them into, and she is determined to have a baby, because if she's a trad wife influencer, she has to have a baby for her content. She can't be a real trad wife influencer without one. So she's trying to have a baby. It's not working out, and also her husband is not really looking to do anything in that regard. So then she ends up getting impregnated by a demon, who she thinks is an angel, or she tries to tell herself is an angel, and then we go from there.
This
Incredible.
was almost on my list.
It's so good. It's also like the way it's written, because the main character, like, she's semi self-aware of what she's doing, and she's sort of been like brought up in a certain way, but she's a smart character. Like, she has that very smart interior life, and so she's like trying to like reconcile these two things that are going against each other, and so it's fascinating. Yeah.
This is why I said at the start, like, this kind of list is impossible for me, because immediately, like, while we're sitting here, I'm like, well, now I'm anticipating that
Yeah.
very heavily.
Yeah. Comes out in February.
And you're so right. Like, the trad wife phenomenon, the problem with it, there's no problem with like the core of what it stands for. The problem is there is a level of fetishization that happens. But then also the flip side is it is usually also promoting like dangerous values
Yes. Or
as
like
a means to like get back to the good old days
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. And like, I feel like this book does a really great job of like having those moments pop up where like the main character kind of like justifies it in her head, even though she knows like logically, scientifically, like some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. And so it's fascinating. What I was gonna say is that though it is full of body horror. It is disgusting. It is freaky, and I love it. So if you're into that, also great.
Good warning to give though, because like
Yeah.
I also love body horror, but there are days where my brain
Yeah.
is like, not
No.
today, not this one.
I saw a review that was like, I like this book, but I don't like a single thing that's happening in it.
Yeah, that's so fair.
Accurate.
Okay. Well, I'll continue with the trad wife theme. I actually was not aware of this book until my mom called me and she's like, Meara, I need you to get your hands on an arc of this book because I need to read it now and it doesn't come out until April.
I love that.
And so I'm like trying to find an arc. I like emailed Penguin and some of my friends have arcs or the e-arcs. And so like I can't get a hold of it. The book is Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. It is about a woman who is like a trad wife influencer. But she somehow gets teleported back in time to actually have to like live like actual 1850s lifestyle. And she's like trying to figure out if this is like someone's playing a trick on her. She's on a reality show. Did she like actually time travel? It is listed as a suspense thriller. Which is also very interesting. It's also said to be darkly funny as it is frightening. My mom wants to make it her book club pick for her book club of women in their 60s. And so I'm trying to
Can I
get
join
it.
your mom's book club? That's my speed. Like,
Yeah.
I love that.
I promise I'll fit in.
That's giving me the vibe of the book club in the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires.
Yes.
Like the moms in the book club.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So now I want to read it because my mom wants to read it, so I'm trying to find an arc. But if I can't, it comes out in April.
I'm going to help you. I'm going to see what I can do. Remind me about that.
Thank you. I'll send a follow-up email.
Please do. That's what I need, my poor brain. It sounds incredible, though. I love this whole tradwife thing, but it's also the prairie dresses weren't enough. We're putting you on the prairie. Like, you want this to be your life? Boom, back in time. Like, I love that it seemingly sounds just like weird karmic cosmic justice of like, okay, practice what you preach. I'm a brat. So that to me sounds like, yeah, good. You deserve that.
Though I do believe in my deep heart that Nara Smith loves satire and that most of her videos are satire.
Oh, 1,000%. Like,
yeah.
And if I could, I would. Like, if I could, I would.
Here, as readers of Girl Dinner, know that these tradwife influencers are not just little homemaker ladies.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, I was like, tradwives appeared in some other book I read. What was it? Girl Dinner.
I was thinking about that while you were talking about it. And yes, Jananie, I finally read it. I read it over the holiday. It was like one of my last books of the year. Oh, so
amazing.
Good.
So
I had to keep forcing myself to forget about cannibalism. just to be like, wait for the surprise.
Right.
I'm so glad I completely forgot about it. Yeah, when I read it.
So my next pick, this is probably like truly traditionally one of my most anticipated books because I love this author. He is an auto borrow. If there is a book that he's got coming out, I am clamoring for it. And that would be We Burned So Bright by TJ Klune. Some of my, I think, favorite books of his are his standalones. And this is also the book where I have to say I am a brat and I do have a copy of it. It came like a day before Christmas and what a gift to receive. But this will be out April 28th. It's a nice short little read. It's a heart-wrenching standalone novel from TJ Klune that follows an elder gay couple on an end-of-the-world road trip. Hello. All of the keywords are right there. So this is like the road stretched out before them. No other cars, just the headlights on the blacktop above the cracked moon in a kaleidoscope sky. So Don and Rodney have lived a good long life, and they've experienced the highest highs of love and family and lows so low that they felt like the end of the world. Now the world is ending for real. A rogue black hole is coming for Earth, and in a month, everything and everyone they've ever known will be gone. Suddenly, after 40 years together, they are out of time. They're in a race against the clock to make it from Maine to Washington State to take care of some unfinished business before it's all over. So it's a road trip story, and who doesn't love a road trip story, especially a gay one? Yeah, it's just a story of like the people they meet along the way, the things that pull them apart and bring them back together. And as the black hole draws near among ball lightning and under a cracked moon in a kaleidoscope sky, Don and Rodney will look back on their lives and ask if their best was good enough. Is it enough to burn bright if nothing comes from the ashes? So again, We Burned So Bright, TJ Klune, April 28th. So we got a little bit of a wait.
I love an older couple, or like an older set of characters.
I do too. There's something so nice about it to just like see, because he tries to write in a variety of ages. And so this feels like the first time I've seen like an actual like older and not necessarily end of life, but like in the up there age range of a couple. And I don't know, it's refreshing.
Yeah. I love how you said end of life.
I know, it's like end of life. No, well, I mean, I guess in this literally it's an end of life couple.
True, yeah.
It's the end of everyone's life.
Exactly.
Shall I do my next pick? Okay, my next one is a bit of a thriller by an author that I quite like, but I'm really excited for this one. It's Read Between the Lies by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This comes out in February 3rd. And it is a claustrophobic psychological suspense that draws a line between victim and villain, or blurs a line between victim and villain with every chapter. Essentially, it's like about writers, like authors, who are in the same like debut year and I think they're in like the same online group chat during the pandemic. And there's all this jealousy and craziness going on. And it turns into this like online rivalry that's like very obsessive. Honestly, I feel like I've seen this play out on Twitter at some point, so I'm very curious to see how this goes. Like, it's giving me a little bit of like Yellow Face, but like the more thriller and like multiple characters. I'm just curious to see how it's going to go and the publishing aspect of it.
You said all of my sleeper agent words, like claustrophobic thriller, I'm there.
Yes.
But also, as you described, like basically Twitter beef between people in a group chat. Set.
Love it.
And I love Jesse QC Tonto.
Like, I feel like it's just going to be just one of those really fun, like kind of guilty pleasure thriller reads. So you just like read it in one go. I'm very excited.
You just eat it up.
Yeah.
I love those. I love a good thriller where you just like sit in, you lock in, and then you're like, whew. You're like head underwater, then you like come up for air when you're finished.
Wow.
I love to be completely lost in that kind of like popcorn thriller. It's the best feeling to be like so in it and then come up for air.
All right. My next book, it is a horror romance. And it's also bisexual sapphic. And it's a dark academia.
Oh, you're saying all my buzzwords.
Here we go. The little blurb is these violent delights have violent ends. So
that's
our main character
quote
is a Shakespeare quote.
Sorry.
So our main character, she goes to her mother's alma mater, which is a sanitarium turned liberal arts university. She's a theater major and she lands the role of Juliet. But then the blood-soaked wraith that caused her mother's death resurfaces after years of quiet. So there's like a haunting element to it. And she has to partner up with the guy directing the play, and they have chemistry. But he also has some kind of knowledge of the involvement of the understudy to Juliet, who has a past that mirrors the main characters. So there's this like star-crossed lovers, love triangle, sapphic, and it all has to do with this like evil spirit that like dates all the way back to a bargain made during the New England vampire panic. So it's just a lot of elements that feel so insane together.
But this is perfect.
Wow.
That's the inside of my brain. Like disparate words kicking around that make sense eventually. Like I'm sold.
And I just want to read it on like a foggy evening with the candlelight burning,
Yes.
Unfortunately, it comes out in August, so there won't be any fog, but
maybe.
Maybe.
Well, if you want something while you wait for that one, I'm going to see all of your buzzwords and raise them for you.
Wait, I don't know if I said the name of my book.
Oh, shoot.
I don't think you did.
What is it?
I'm just laying in the suspense. It is She Haunts Me Still by D. Elizabeth. And the cover is also stunning. Recommend looking it up.
Love that. Well, they will have seen it on screen if they're watching the video. Make sure you check out the Libby Up YouTube channel for our video content. But I'm going to use all of your same buzzwords because this is a horror romance and it is also sapphic. And it comes out in March 10th. So you can, get your fix before you get there. Yeah, work your way into it. This is Spoiled Milk by Avery Curran. We were all together. Hungerstone was a big one for me in 2025. And I think the like sapphic horror romance rise, I am so happy to be like in that boat on the tide because I'm here for it. This is I've got more good words for you, Jananie. It's a thrilling gothic debut. I love a debut, but it's gothic as well. The untimely death of a student at a girls' boarding school marks the first in a haunting series of escalating supernatural events and uncovers buried truths of teenage repression, queer desire, and the everyday horror of coming of age.
Real.
I love that.
So,
I love that.
Spoiled Milk, Avery Curran, March 10th.
Amazing.
I'll keep that one short and sweet because they marry so well together. So there's your like pairing for the year.
Love it.
I feel like gothic and sapphic and repression just go so
Uh-huh.
well.
Yes.
Like lesbian longing all day. Like, give it to me
Yes.
all day long. Perfect.
Yes, exactly. Okay, what is my next one? Ooh, okay. My next one in a kind of different direction is a fantasy pick. It's A Kiss of Crimson Ash by Anuja Varghese. This one comes out in May, and it is a epic fantasy that's told from multiple different perspectives. And I've heard the author talk about like sort of her process writing this book, and she said it was like taking D&D characters or like roles and like fleshing them out, into this like world. And I was like, that is so cool. And then when you read, I've read like the first few chapters. I've been like a PDF arc, and so I haven't made my way through the whole thing, but it's fantastic. But each character is like has so much lore to them, and it's like this sprawling fantasy world, and there's like all these different politics and different magic users as well. And it's fascinating. I am so hyped for it. And it's also like kind of set in this South Asian inspired world, but like there's also like other nations or countries. So you have like kind of this, I would say, like historical England character, in the space. And it's fascinating. Like I'm so excited to see how the world expands. It gives me very like Game of Thrones vibe, which I haven't gotten in a while. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited.
And the way Meara and I both like started to lean in
I
closer,
know.
as you were like, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, what? D&D where?
Yeah, I'm like, it feels like playing a D&D campaign. Count me in.
And quite literally, I'm not even like a D&D person, but I appreciate and I admire, the love of D&D, but like you can feel it in this book. Like it's just expansive.
No,
Yeah.
I'm with you there of the like, I have so much love for it. I've never played Beyond Baldur's Gate. And so I'm just like, I like, it fits the vibe for me, but right, I don't have
Mhm.
a relationship to it.
Yeah.
Well, I encourage y'all to try that.
Let's
Speaking of
do a
trying new
virtual,
things,
let's do a virtual campaign.
say less, I'm in. Say less.
Okay.
I have so many sets of dice. Say less.
Same, because I play Magic.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. But my segue was, speaking of trying new things, my next book is Phoebe Bergman's Gonna Lose It by Brooke Averick. Brooke is the co-host of the podcast Brooke and Connor Make a Podcast. She's like very popular on TikTok, has been for a long time. And this is her debut novel with a character that she has said has a lot of herself in it. And she is just hilarious. So I can't wait to read her character. But it's about Phoebe, who is a hopeless romantic, but she's about to turn 30 and has never had sex. And so she's determined to lose her virginity before her birthday, but also must battle her own anxiety in order to get there. And I love late bloomer stories. I feel like we don't get a ton of them, and especially not a ton of like great representation of what it's really like to be a late bloomer. And so whenever I hear of one, I am seated. And so I'm really excited to read this one.
That sounds incredible. I also love a title that's just like a person doing an action. Like there's something about that makes my brain happy. I don't know.
Just scratches your brain.
It's something in there. My next pick is like a out of left field compared to everything I've brought to the table so far, but it's very me. It's called Plastic Prism Void Part 1 by Violet Allen. Uh, let's just dive into it. It's a riotous, trans, enemies to lovers romantasy that roars off the page, in which a magical girl gone bad and a renegade mech pilot must find a way to stay on a date forever, even if it means destroying the world. So it's like Evangelion meets Sailor Moon in like a weird trans race of the future. And I don't know. I I don't even remember when this like came across my I love that phrase, came across my desk. It makes me feel like a businessman. I don't even know when I first saw this book, but it very quickly became yeah, I'm gonna need to read that the moment I can, because it sounds weird. It's coming out in May, May 19th. Um, and again, like it just sounds weird. Anytime you get me with like a Sailor Moon buzzword, I'm in. I will always and forever be a magical girl. So like,
Anything Sailor Moon, I'm here. I'm
right.
so here.
So that's like the comp for this. So I'm here for it. What does it say here? An extraordinary meld of adventure, rom-com, and experimental fiction. Violet Allen's unstoppable debut, I'm also a sucker for a debut, is the cosmic thrill ride of a lifetime. Give in, succumb, you know you want to plastic prism white. So check it out.
Wow.
Or don't,
Love.
whatever, but I will.
Amazing. Okay, my next one is a sequel, but I'll also tell you about the first book. So the sequel is The Rise of the Celestials by Kritika H. Rao. This is a sequel to The Legend of Manica, which is a fabulous romantasy book inspired by Hindu mythology, follows a bi-main character who is she is a celestial dancer, so like an apsara, that's the term, and she is sent down to Earth to seduce and stop this sage, or yeah, I think sage on Earth, who is defying the king of the gods. Dun dun dun. And it's so good. It's so good in like the romantasy aspects. Like it just juggled things really well, like both the romance and also just like this fantasy world and like keeping the suspense alive. But then also our main character is just like such a fascinating person because she's like kind of doing all of this to like kind of get her freedom from her service so she can be with the girl that she wants to be with. But, you know, things happen along the way. And it was just fabulous. And it like the end of the first book, like it resolves things, but it's also like such a cliffhanger. And so I'm like dying to read this next book. And it comes out in April. And this is my arc that I will be reading this month because I will go insane otherwise.
I think my favorite way to describe a book is, and things happen.
And things happen.
Yes. Yeah. And things happen, especially when it's like a book 2 in a series. It's all you really can say. So you don't destroy it for someone. But I love the sense that I got while you were talking about it was just like, oh, we're all laying on our bed, kicking our feet right now, listening to you talk.
Literally. It was so good.
Yes. Felt like gossip.
Yeah.
Okay. My next book. If you know me, if you've listened to this podcast when I've been on it before, you should not be surprised to hear it that I love Adeline Grace. And she has her first adult novel coming out this year. So she has a trilogy and a duology that she's previously published. They're both YA. She's coming out with her first adult. It's part 1 in a series. It's called The Wretched Divine and is about a girl who was raised as a knight. And she is looking to inherit her family's legacy, which is a soul bond with the angel Uriel. But something is turning her family members into the monsters that she is supposed to destroy. So she also has to team up with Severin, a demon. So it is a girl working with an angel and a demon to save her family and her country. And that's just something that I always want to read. When you put those two opposing forces together and make them have to work together, you know you're going to get some like great, just like little moments.
And like the super Hulock part of my brain just woke back up when you said all of those words.
How dare you? How dare you invoke those words?
Yeah, I invoked the old gods.
I like your shoelaces.
Oh, no. Thanks. I got them from the president. Oh, I hate that. But I won't even let it be cut. I'm just going to live in my shame.
By the way, the book comes out in October, so long wait. But I think October's a great time for that kind of angels and demons dynamic. So I'm very excited about it.
That feels to me to be like a very fall. If we don't have it right now in the like wintry darkness, we need it as the year starts to darken earlier. I don't know. Some things just give me vibes for the time of year.
By the way, it's labeled as a romantasy.
As we all look directly into camera and make the, oh, okay.
Oops, is the romance with Adeline?
Where is the romance, Miss Adeline? But we'll wait and find out. My next pick, this is another one of those that like the moment I heard about it joined the list of like, can't wait for that to come out. It is a middle grade graphic novel from our friends over at Scholastic. This is Fruitcake by Rex Ogle. I am absolutely in love with Rex Ogle. I love his work. All of his writing is gorgeous. He talks about so many important things. He's having conversations that I feel like we all need to hear and understand, from Free Lunch to his graphic novel work, and then his work as Ray Tercero, where he is queering classic tales into graphic novels so that way they can give a new life, but also have important meanings to kids where they're at today. He did Dan of Green Gables. He's done so many great things. But Fruitcake, this is book 3 in his series that has Four Eyes and Pizza Face. It's just it's an incredible story of a kid who's just trying to get along. And I think the title gives it away. This is when our main character is finally gonna, maybe discover a little something about himself. And I believe this is the closing of the series. And I'm so excited for it. I don't know. It's an 8th grade. It's a graphic memoir about crushes coming out and finding the courage to be yourself. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. I love him. I love his work. And this series, oh.
I feel like
I
Rex
like
Ogle.
feel-
April 7th. Yeah, sorry.
Rex Ogle is a name that when I hear it, I think of you. When I hear
I love that. That means I've yapped too much about him. But
no, that
I
means that
love
you're
it.
very passionate
Perfect.
about his work.
We can feel the passion and the love.
he's just doing something important. I don't know. He's endlessly on school visits, and
Aw.
that brings me joy because the kids need it. So
I love that.
yeah. So that's I'll wait patiently. This is one of those that like, ooh, my pre-order was in the moment that it opened.
My next pick is Aicha. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not going to say the author's name because I don't know how to pronounce it and I don't want to butcher it. But this, first of all, the cover, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And this is a fantasy debut. And I'm just going to read you the little description on the inside because it sounds fantastic. Aicha is a story of Morocco's warrior goddess, her strange magic, fierce rebellion, and devastating romance. And this debut author weaves an epic tale of female rage and hidden myths, perfect for fans of the City of Brass and the Stardust Thief. And it's apparently like set kind of like historically when the Portuguese Empire has planted its flag across Morocco and is ruling with an iron fist. And so she's the daughter of a Moroccan freedom fighter who was born for battle and is basically like rising up. But she's also got a secret lover who is a rebellion leader. And yeah, there's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and I'm just so hyped. Like,
And things
so
happen.
and things happen. Like,
And
That's all
that
you need to know.
cover, like,
It's
let's
so
get some promotion for the
gorgeous.
dress. Like, that's
Like,
gorgeous.
like the art, like
Oh.
the golden tears running down her face, the halo, like it's incredible. Like if you saw it in person, gorgeous.
I am like a historical fiction, not hater, but like apathetic, except for when we are getting bits that like we're not getting all the time. Because like I feel like a lot of people are like, I like historical fiction, and it's like World War II, World War I.
Yeah.
Like it's always the same things, but like
Yes.
Moroccan uprising against Portuguese colonialism.
Love it.
I'm with you. I'm always like, am I a historical fiction hater because I'm ready to like join you in that? And then I'm like, maybe I'm apathetic. And then I read like Silvia Moreno Garcia or
Yes.
I read Isabel Cañas, and I'm like, oh, I just need it to not be like boring white
I needed to be
nonsense.
out of Western Europe.
Exactly.
Western Europe historical fiction. Yeah.
Right. I just need it to not be about World War I, World War II, or like the Civil War. I'm
more
good.
spies. I'm done with spies.
My God, yeah.
Oh, that's not the court intrigue I want.
Ooh.
Yeah. But very excited for this one. It's been like pitched as like a female rage fantasy, but also like a bit of a romantasy, and I've heard amazing things so far. So yeah,
and who
very
doesn't
excited.
love...
It comes out in March.
Ooh, okay. And who doesn't love when you hear female rage? Like that's
yes.
I would like to see that destruction, please.
Exactly.
Okay, my next book is a graphic novel.
Ooh.
Shaking things up a little bit. It comes from Olivia Blake, and the artist is Little Chimura. We are Olivia Blake lovers in the chat here. The book is Clara and the Devil. This is just volume 1. First of all, the art looks phenomenal. It looks stunning. And it's about Clara, who's about to graduate college and become a librarian, but the devil has come to town and he wants a library card. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm so excited about it.
And then things happen.
And then things happen.
The devil wants a library card, and boy, oh boy, we're going to give him one.
Love that. Also, that should be the tagline. Like, the devil wants a library card.
Oh, and it comes
That should be
out...
Libby's tagline, you know?
The devil wants a
library card.
Taking that back to the
That's
social
how book
thing.
banners feel about it.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
And it comes out in May. 5/5.
I can't wait to read that. I would love to believe that it was my constant pressuring of y'all to read graphic novels, but I know it's just Olivia Blake.
Listen, I have a graphic novel shelf on my bookshelf.
I know.
There.
I have a few.
I know. I believe in both of you. My next pick is from friend of the show, Holly Stars. This is Missing in Soho. It is a queer, cozy mystery whose main character is a drag queen. So need I say more? I interviewed Holly Starr a couple years ago when the first book came out, Murder in the Dressing Room. So this, again, will be following Misty Devine. She is back in action. She's bold and beautiful as well. I cannot wait to see what happens next. Holly did the narration for the audiobook, which was so fun to hear the author, kind of tell their story. So if you love a queer cozy mystery, if you love drag queens, this is it. This will be out in June, of course, right in time for Pride Month, so we can celebrate with Holly Stars. So again, Missing in Soho.
Oh, my turn again.
Yes.
Yep.
Back to you, Jananie. Sorry, I should have put on my...
Danny's just like, wow, I'm really enjoying listening to all these recommendations.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I get to talk about so many different books.
Wow, books.
No, just me like blanking out for a second. My next book is from my own publishing imprint, Boundless Press, and it is Burn the Sea by Mona Dawati. It is coming out in April 21st, and like Aicha, it is a historical fantasy, and it is inspired by a real life queen like Aicha, called Abaka Chauta from southern India in the 1500s, and this is like a sort of fantasy version of this situation where rather than, Portuguese colonial people, it's the snake monsters called Porcugi who are trying to colonize the land. And so our main character, yes. But it's cool because they're like giant snake monsters. So you're like, how does that even work? But also what? And yeah, essentially we have our main character who is this queen and trying to stand up against this like colonization and also like stand with integrity for her country and for her kingdom. But there's also an element of like a bit of a romance that is like so not the main like plot. And it's more about the women in her life who support her, who are like her force to stop this colonial, situation. So it's a fabulous fantasy. It like taps into the strength of women, not only in like a masculine sense of strength of like, being a warrior and fighting, but also in the soft, quiet strength of women and enduring through, awfulness. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic and full of like just fun characters who you like are just giddy over and you love seeing them interact and you want to see them succeed by the end.
Aww.
And it also has a crazy ending and there is a book 2 coming out in 2027.
Wow.
That's exciting. Jananie, of course, I have to ask you again every time we get to hear about something from your imprint. What does this mean to you? What was it like to pick this book? What was the process like? All of that. Yeah, what does this mean?
Good question. I mean, so I remember the first call I had with the author, we both like got into a bit of a teary mess by the end of the call because we were like, this is the representation we wish we had as kids. And like, we were just so excited because yeah, like I didn't grow up with like seeing brown girls on the cover of a book, or, being the main characters, or just existing in a way that wasn't attached to a man, like being important without that. Because she's like outsmarting, the men in her life who think that they have the control in her life throughout the book. And, it gives me very like, what is the book or movie? Reese Witherspoon and Legally Blonde.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh
I was
my
gonna
God.
say that, but
I was like, not at all. It's not at all the same, but like in the vibe of like, you think
it's the
I
like
can't do
what?
this.
Like it's
Let me,
hard?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What, like it's hard. Yeah. That energy. So yeah, I love that. And then, yeah, I was like hooked into the story the second I read it. And, I read it again after the author did her edits, and she made it even better. Like, if I didn't think it could be better, but she made it even better. And I was like, I remember I reread it and I was like sobbing at the end because I was like, this was so good. I just want more. So I'm very excited. And yeah, it's just been like a dream working on this book. And I also just feel like it's just such a fun book as well that I think a lot of people are going to love it.
Oh, I love that. I love your point of if you were anything that wasn't the expectation when we were growing up, you were an accessory, you were under someone else's control, you were an aside, you weren't necessarily even a side character, you would just be an aside. You'd be a sentence or two to be like, yep, representation happened.
Yeah.
And to see now the like front and center and powerful is it's just so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Love it. Yeah.
All right. I have my last recommendation and I'm going to speed run because some continuations of series that I love are coming out and I am so excited for them. First of all, the third book in the Alex Stern series by Lee Bardugo is coming out.
That's out this year?
It says it's out in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
We're finally getting our finale with Alex Stern, which, if you are unfamiliar, it's Ninth House Hellbent and now Deadbeat. Ninth House is probably one of my favorite books of all time. And so I am very, very excited about this. We get Light Wielder, which is the second book after Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider, which I spontaneously picked this up at a friend's recommendation on the last day of 2024. And she was like, listen, it's long, but I think you'll finish it in a day. And I did. It was like 500 pages and I was just locked in, finished it in a day, had one of the best plot twists of all time that I've ever read. And Rachel Schneider is from South Louisiana. So it just has a special place in my heart just for being an author local to my hometown. And then the third, which we have waited forever.
Wait, is this actually it?
We get Victorious, the next book in the Villain series by V.E. Schwab.
No way.
Coming out in October.
You talked about this in an episode sometime in the last.
That's crazy.
And you were like, this will just never happen. It's happening?
According to books coming out in
powers of the
2026
internet.
pages, it's coming out in October.
Oh, I'm so
Oh my
excited for you.
God. I'm so excited.
Huge.
Though I don't know. I'm a little scared.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like reread. I had purple hair when I read the first two books.
Years.
It's been so long.
It's been like 10 years since the first book came out. Because I remember I was like reading it at the year I was reading it. I was reading it in like 2015. So it's been like over 10 years since the first book came out. Which is insane. Because she also like broke out as like more of a success after that book. Like it was with Darker Shade of Magic series. So
yeah. So I didn't know if she was just kind of like putzing around, was going to come back to it. Book 3 is supposed to be coming out this year. And if anyone's not read Vicious Vengeful and then soon Victorious, if you watch the show The Boys, it is like The Boys in a literary form, but a little less gory, a little more anti-hero.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would say it's like it also gives a bit of a dark academia vibe, like the first book at least.
Absolutely.
Which I love. And there's like another show that I was thinking of that it's similar to. I can't remember now. It's great though.
Yeah. So if you've been waiting to get into Ninth House because you were like, I'm waiting for the last book, you can do it now. Vicious, you can do it now. And then Metal Slinger, if you haven't picked it up, it's a romantasy, but it feels so fresh, original. Again, best plot twist I've ever seen in my entire life.
Dang.
And book 2 comes out this year in June.
Ooh, that's exciting. Wow, you hammered it home right there at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, let me save the goodies for last.
Well, I can't follow that with anything quite as good, but this is like my last pick is one that I'm like, this is my shame, but also my love. Uh, it's book 4 of the Clown in a Cornfield series, Lights, Camera, Friendo by Adam Caesar. Look, I had Clown in a Cornfield on my TBR forever, and then this Halloween, I read all 3 of them back to back, and I'm hooked.
Mira's having a.
I know, Mira's dying. The cover is
so
criminal.
funny.
The cover is criminal. But unfortunately, I'm like, I'm far enough along in this series that I have to know what's going on. I definitely how do I say it this way? I hope this is the end. I don't mean that with shade. I just like, you know.
Are you like tired of them stretching it out? You're like, let it be done.
I mean, I guess what he's doing is brilliant because it's definitely going the way of like Halloween or like Nightmare on Elm Street or any of like the Jason franchise where it's like any director could do this and it's all going to be like a weird different take. But the first one was so good, and I think they all bring something really interesting, and I think what it takes of like the Final Girls element, what it takes of horror franchises is really appealing to my brain. And you know me, I'm a sucker for some like YA fun. But yes, I'm with you of like, I don't know if I need more after this, but I'm happy to have a 4th one to get to read. So again, like no shade. And I say that, and if he announces a 5th one, I'll probably go and read it. But yeah, I was surprised after finishing book 3 that like, oh, here comes the 4th one. But so again, that's Lights, Camera, Friendo by Adam Caesar, and that will be out August 18th.
Listen, also in your defense, it's Bram Stoker award winning.
Oh yeah, I mean, like that. I say that like it's great. Like the writing is great, the quality is there. He knows what he's doing. I feel a little silly because it definitely and maybe that's like the brilliance of it. Like it has that campy sensation of like the third one to me is like Halloween. I think Halloween 3, which is the one with all the different masks or whatever. Like where there's like a weird jump the shark moment, but then somehow you're like, I'm really sold and I don't understand why. So you know what? Maybe I'll eat all my words. This one's gonna come out and I'm gonna go, okay, there better be a 5th. So check back in with me in August.
Yeah, you never know. Famous last words.
Famously, and I'll happily eat my words.
Okay, my last pick is a short story collection, actually, but by an author that I really like, which is Seasons of Glass and Iron by Amal El Motar. If you didn't know, she is one of the authors of This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is a beautiful sapphic sci-fi epistolary novel. It's like so weird, but amazing. And this book is a collection of her short stories, and they're all speculative in nature. And I started reading one and I was like, this is just beautiful. Like, she also just writes beautiful prose, and there's fairy tale-esque elements to it. So really excited for this. It comes out in March. She also had another book come out recently, I think last year, The River Has Roots. So if you like that, I think you'll also like this one because it's like kind of similar vibe, but they're short stories.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, thank you both for joining me to share what you're most excited for. I hope you'll both come back in future episodes and indulge me on like monthly book picks where we can get way too granular on just what's coming out in the upcoming month.
Yeah. I know. I was like, shoot, I had like 4 books and I was like, I gotta save those.
Dude, I did this like when I was updating my list today, I was just like, oh, I have 15 books. And I pulled all the Februaries and I was like, okay, that episode prep's done.
That's taken care
There
of.
you go.
Before I let you both go, anything you'd like to promote or anywhere that people should follow for updates? I mean, you're linked everywhere. They know who you are, but anything exciting coming up for either of you?
No, I'm trying to be more active online. So maybe follow me in places and see if I post more. Maybe that'll encourage me to post more.
Go comment on Meara's Instagram. Hey, girl, this is your reminder to post more.
Yeah, truly.
Mhm.
God, if y'all follow my Instagram, you'll get nice little insights about how the fact that I went on a road trip with my friend and we were listening to a romance audiobook and it was incredibly open door and involved
You better believe I was watching along.
involved
need to
some
watch those.
fun tools in the
Oof.
bed.
It was
Well,
so fun to
Well.
just be like sitting on my couch being like, oh, Meara, what did you get into?
No, literally,
Staring at my
we were both
Silent.
just sitting there like the whole car ride. So
Huh?
I love that. That's amazing.
And that's the joys you can have with your friends on road trips as readers.
Mhm.
Share an audiobook. Don't look into what it's about. Just
Yeah.
pick one and dive in. It's
Just go
bonding.
in.
Live
into it.
chaotically.
yeah.
Live chaotically. Live
Yes.
fast, die young. Bad girls do it well. Whatever the quote is.
And then some things
Have
happen.
whimsy. Yeah.
And then some things happen.
Yeah. You know?
Well, thank you all
Should
so
just
much
let things happen. Sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, I'll let us go forever. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, like all those podcasts and YouTube things. One day I'll get good at this, but no one really wants to hear me say it. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. Send me an email if you'd like to talk to me, bookloungebylibby@overdrive.com. Thanks so much and happy reading. You can sample and borrow the books from today's episode in the Libby app, or if you're a librarian, find them for purchase in Overdrive Marketplace. Book Lounge by Libby is a proud Evergreen Podcast signature program. Explore more amazing shows at evergreenpodcasts.com. This podcast is produced and recorded by me, Joe Skelly, with editing by Andrew Alonso. Our theme music is High Five by Rex Banner, used with permission. Book Lounge by Libby is presented by the Libby app. Learn more at libbylife.com/booklounge.